to do with you, Jago, Mr. Funny Man. And we're live. What's up, everyone? And welcome to yet another episode of the Game Dosage Podcast. It's your Cosmic Outlaw Invader here, and I am hosting the show tonight. As you can already tell, there's been a change in the scenery. Glitcher got a call last minute, so unfortunately he can't be here with us. And Corpse is, well, he's pulling the graveyard shift, if you know what I mean. But hey, we've got...
job, bro, laying down.
Yeah. And hey, we still got the same killer panel, and hey, quite a few interesting topics to delve into. But first, let's get right into the introductions for the crew. Always a force when he's on the mic, letting his opinions drop like atomic bombs, Mr. Noof Nukem.
Boom, boom, boom. It's Monday night, the Game Dosage Podcast. We got your prescription for your gaming addiction. We are coming to you live. We got a great panel, even better topics. It's going to be lit like a bag of shit up in here. We're going to do this. Let's rock and roll. I'm ready to go, baby. Woo!
Yeah, it's lit all right. And next up, lurking in the shadows, always ready to unleash his gaming fury, Mr. Jago Kukin.
What's up, brother? Ultimate. Diego just stepped in the room. Let's go, baby. Let's get these topics done. Let's go, baby.
Woo! All right, I like that. And next, she's the prime lady in my gaming life, the heartbreaker extraordinaire, Miss Primal Eve.
Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be here. It's one of the nights I get to have other people make me excited instead of just myself. I'm glad to see everybody in chat as usual, and I'm ready to get these topics going.
All right. And lastly, he's a rock star both in and out of the gaming scene, the Red Devil himself, Mr. Proto Foxy.
Man, you are way too damn kind to me, but here I am, hardwired and ready to go. The Red Menace is ready to get this show on the road, so let's let the good times roll.
Let the
Red
good
Menace,
times
I like
roll.
that.
Boom, boom, let the good times roll. I hear you.
You could thank Invader for Red Menace, man. That was all him, and I love it.
The Red Menace?
Unless you're a female, the Red Menace might mean something completely different.
Well, that's why I changed it up this time with the Red Devil. Yeah.
Throw up in my mouth a little bit right there.
You know, I aims to please, Jago.
Ooh, diabolic. All right, so on to today's topics. Now, all right, let's see what we can delve right into. So it looks like if GameStop is in a bit of trouble. According to a report by Game Rants, GameStop lost about, just a little bit of chunk of change, $488 million in the third quarter of 2018. And this is despite growth in hardware sales and accessories. The gaming industry itself is booming, but what could be the issue? Could it possibly be a shift in consumerism? Let's hear your thoughts, panel, on what it could be, starting with Mr. Noof Nukem.
Well, you know what? GameStop, look, I like them and I don't like them. It's a weird thing. Up here, we call them EB Games, owned by the same company, but they're pretty much under the same umbrella. Mm-hmm. You know, the stores are pretty much laid out. A lot of their plans and stuff are the same. But look, they've been shooting themselves in the foot for a very long time. Not only did it take a little bit too long to sort of get on the bandwagon, while the industry has been changing, I think not only have they screwed over a lot of their employees, because, boy, go to YouTube and find out the GameStop horror stories from working there. That's one thing. And two, it's their shady-ass business practices that are turning away fans. It's not about talking games and loving games and going into the store and getting the best deal possible. Like, these guys do some shady shit, right? I mean, they're always trying to sell you used copies of games and they got new ones in the store, and it makes no absolute sense. Like, guys, please, if you're walking into the store and the new game is $5 more than the fucking used one, please do me and the industry a favor, buy the new one, please, because buying the used one, you're just putting all the money in their pockets and not behind the developers and the industry that really needs that money, and that is part and parcel. But you know what? The other thing with GameStop, at some point in time, you know what they should have done and should be doing now before it's too late? So they should be reaching out to publishers, and they should be reaching out to the big industry guys like Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony and asking, how can we make this so everybody wins? how we're not just gouging gamers and screwing you guys over a new game sale. How can we make this a mutual and a beneficial industry for everybody? Because at the end of the day, they are a major player. They're a major distributor for the consoles and the hardware, right? But consoles and hardware are nothing if you can't push the software. So what I'm thinking is, they should have at least backed up a policy where like a percentage of some of their games, like even say a certain percentage of all their used games, a portion would go back to say those publishers of those games, so that they're still getting a decent little cut and they're still reaping some rewards. Gamers win, then the publishers win, and GameStop wins. It's pretty simple business, pretty simple math. I'm not even a genius here, but don't you guys think that would be a huge step forward so that everybody gets a cut of the pie and it's kind of not, we're getting it all and screwed to the hardworking developers who slaved to put this game out and get screwed over by a cheaper game? There's just so many reasons why they're behind the 8 ball. The only thing that's trying to keep them afloat right now is a lot of the pre-order bullshit that they pull off. But even a lot of that now, to me, is not as good as what it was. Because I remember when I used to start buying games from GameStop or EB, I used to get some really cool stuff for pre-ordering games. Now, a lot of the times, it's a stupid little DLC skin. A stupid little weapon color. Stupid little shirt. Stupid little something else. And it's like, I could really give a rat's flying fuck about that shit. Like, give me something substantial. Like I remember when I bought Quantum Break, as cheap as the shit was, they give me a watch, right? It was a watch with Quantum Break fucking on it. I thought that was kind of cool. Stuff like that is what makes me want to go into the store and pick up a physical copy as opposed to going digital or whatever have you. But as far as like DLC, you can get that shit just about anywhere. You know what I mean? So I won't rant on too long because I could probably go on forever. But you guys know where I'm going, and I hope that you guys the panel will also weigh in on maybe what I just said about coming up with a plan to share the wealth amongst the industry, so that way they stay in business longer and the publishers do get some sort of a cut from their business model, because otherwise these guys are going to be going the way of Blockbuster here pretty soon. And it's sad because I love physical stores. I love walking in there and seeing this shit on the shelf and being able to talk to an actual employee, like, have you played this game? Do you like it? What's the response? And just seeing that physical, tangible product is really cool. And one of these days it's going to be gone. The only way I'm going to see anything is fucking to see it on the dashboard of a console, right? So there you go. That's my rant. Move it along here.
Exactly.
All right. That's a pretty awesome rant there, Noof. Like it a lot. All right. So Primal, you're up next, my dear. What are your thoughts on the matter? How do you feel about GameStop being in trouble?
This is something I could probably go a whole show talking about. I'm going to rewind back to 2004 when I was young, dumb, and full of cum at 16.
Oh, she said it!
I just started working at GameStop. I started off as a door greeter, and it was awesome. I love being able to talk to the customers and actually get into the games and really connect with everybody.
Yeah.
Then as the years continued on and I started moving up into the corporate ladder, shit just turned ugly. It wasn't about the games at all, period. And I'm going to try my best not to talk as much shit about this company, but it wasn't what it was before. Like there used to be a store called Funko Land here in
I remember
in New
Funko
England,
Land,
on like
yeah.
the East Coast side, and I don't know if it was on the other side.
It wasn't here, but yeah, I know.
It was in the Midwest.
It was too.
Yeah.
But it was almost like a small mom and pop game store, and then GameStop bought it. But like I said, as the years went on, I started seeing that it wasn't about the games; it was about making money. And I was there for a good 5+, 6+. It could honestly be 7+. I really don't remember. That whole job killed me. That we weren't selling things for the benefit of the customer. We were selling it for the benefit of us. And that drove me fucking nuts. And I would get into trouble sometimes because I would speak to the customer, because everybody to me was my friend. It was somebody that I could possibly be playing with in the future. So I would always try and do what's best by them. But by GameStop standards, that was not okay. And I noticed that the further along it went, when we started selling other items like toys, food, movies, all these other things that weren't even GameStop related-ish, it showed me that they're just going for money. At this point in time where we're at, the whole digital sales is starting to really spread. That definitely hurts GameStop. All of the merchandise, like the shirts, the Funko Pops, any other toys and all that stuff, a lot of people are going to get that online or elsewhere cheaper, even if they have whatever sale is going on, whatever. I do see exactly what Noof is saying about it turning into Blockbuster. At one point, people aren't going to want to buy the used games anymore. It does hurt the people that are creating the games because they're not getting what they deserve for the game.
Yeah.
So it's just at this point, I could say goodbye, GameStop. I'm not going to miss you. I'm not going to need you, and you did it to yourself.
Yeah. One other point too, one thing that really rotted my fucking asshole was going in there with those guys and seeing them double dip. Okay, for example, he's brought in some games a while back, right, to trade in. I think this was like during the 360 PS3 or whatever. And some of the games had like some little bit of scratches on them, right? So I'm trading them in, and that wasn't getting very much to begin with. And then the guy's like, "Well, dude, this game's got a little scratch on it, so we got to charge. Well, you lose like an extra $1 or $2 on because we got to go and refurbish the game. We got to like do whatever, right?" And the funny thing is, the games I was trading in were already used games I'd bought from them, so shouldn't they have been refurbished the first time so there wouldn't have been any scratches? Because trust me, I don't scratch shit on my disc. My stuff is pristine, man.
Yep.
My stuff is fucking, there's not a scratch on any shit that I own that's brand new. But so what they're doing is they're going to take away my money, then charge another customer again. But when they don't do their job, they don't refurbish the damn thing, so they're just double dipping. And that stuff just rotted me to no end.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty annoying. I totally agree with you there, Noof. Especially up here, we get charged a little extra for the nickel and diming up here in the Great White North, and it's kind of annoying to be nickeled and dimed back that way. Jago, what are your thoughts on the matter? How do you feel about this?
First off, I've never worked at GameStop, so I don't, I didn't get that negative side of it. But I mean, I'm a physical guy like Noof. I've been going to. We used to have EB here as well. I think back in the day EB was separate from GameStop. I want to say
they were.
Yeah. GameStop bought them, so our EBs pretty much disappeared because our EBs turned into GameStops as well. But I'm a physical guy. I like going into a store and being able to look at what's being offered. You know what I'm saying? I love that. And if we go, it's inevitable. I mean, it's inevitable. Let's be honest. But we've had too many physical stores disappear. Like Toys R Us. I used to love going to Toys R Us back in the day, but it's gone now as well. And I ain't gonna stay here and lie. GameStop has done some shady shit. It took me a while, when I was younger, I didn't catch on. But as I got older, I caught on. Like New said, you're better off buying a brand new game because they'll take a used game and charge you $55 for it, and you get a brand new one for $60. I'll just buy the brand new.
Speaking of Toys R Us, though, for those of you who didn't know, it looks like the Canadian division of Toys R Us managed to stave off bankruptcy, so they're going to keep their doors open in Canada.
Yeah, I saw that. Awesome. I saw that. So I clapped my hands that day. I was like, thank God Toys R Us is coming back. But, I mean, I don't know, man. I actually love my GameStop. I really do. There's a bunch of Sony ponies in there. Let's be honest. There's Sony and Nintendo, and it gets on my damn nerves. I've said this before. I'll say, I'm here to pick up whatever. And they'll be like, they'll assume it's for Sony or for the PlayStation. I'm like, no. And I'm like, it's for Xbox. And they look astounded. Like, whoa, you're buying an Xbox game? What's wrong with you? I'm like, come on, man. It just that gets on my nerves about GameStop as well. But most of the guys in my GameStop, they're awesome. They're awesome people. There's I don't know. It's like they try to hire people that are like Sony fanboys, but the guys they got in my store are pretty decent. And I'm gonna be honest. I love the GameStop owns Think Geek, and if you've ever been to a Think Geek store, there's some cool ass shit in a Think Geek store, and I like the fact that they're trying to diversify, which they got to, or they won't survive. I like that they've brought in. I ain't big on the t-shirts or whatever, but I like the fact they've brought in some of the things you can get at the Think Geek store. Like I bought my girl for Christmas. She already seen it because I let her pick it out, but the awesome Thor statue from Gallery, I think it is. He's being struck by lightning. I got that from GameStop. That is awesome. And without a physical store to go to, we won't get a chance to buy things like that. Or like Noof was saying, get a physical collector's edition, because there's one thing I want in the world right now would make me happy if I saw BioWare come out and say, we're making a physical collector's edition, because I've got the $80 version pre-ordered for Anthem, and that's all you can get. But no, I really want a statue with all four, I'm having a brain fart right now, all four javelins, like I did with my Titanfall collector's editions. I want that. And if we lose a store, a physical store to go into, you won't get that anymore. And I'm not big on buying the digital deluxe edition. I give a shit about that. I'd rather buy a physical or a collector's edition, a physical copy or something tangible I can put my hands on or put it on shelf. And I know I sound like a dinosaur right now.
Oh, that smell, the new game smell when you
the new game smell. I'm like, Noof. They asked me what.
Yeah,
and GameStop they want to offer you the insurance, and I look at them, I go, I don't need it. And they're looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, nobody touch. And I am being serious as I can be. Nobody touches my video games but me. That's how I've always been. If my old lady wanted to get me a game, I'm like, nope, I'll get it because you may not handle it right. I only like fingerprints on my disc. Get off my disc. But I think if this trend keeps going and we lose physical outlets, I mean, for Christ's sake, you got at the grocery store, you got personal shoppers because sons of bitches are too lazy to go get groceries.
I can practically hear Jago saying this. Baby, I let you touch my penis, but you ain't touch my fucking games.
You could say you do serious damage to that game.
Exactly. I know it's going that way, all towards digital trends, and I hope I'm long dead before that, because I like going to a physical store and just being able to walk in and see things on a shelf and get things from a box store that you can't get just by buying something digital. So I've done my part, like I put in the chat. I've been giving GameStop or EB Games or anywhere, even Best Buy, my money for years for physical copies or collector's editions for a long time, and I won't stop. I'm not going to stop, damn it.
Yeah, of course, and you make a lot of good points there, Jago. And I gotta admit, I'm a bit of an old geezer. I like my physical. It's hard to break some habits. I mean, I have gone more digital as years have gone on, but there's something about a game. You open the package. It's new. It has, like Primo was saying, that new disc smell, and
yes,
there's just something about it.
If you ever watched the gamer, what's his name? Gamer. God, 83. I can't think of his name. YouTuber. He's one that does the popcorn fried chicken, Kool-Aid, whatever. He does that. he makes videos. He'll open the disc, go and smell the new game. Smell. It's hilarious as shit. I love it, but I know where he's coming from.
Oh, you're addicted, Jago. You're addicted.
I am.
I like that new fart smell myself.
All right, Mr. Red Devil, Red Menace, Proto Foxy, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about GameStop being in a little trouble here?
Well, first off, I guess you just say, from the facts standpoint, the writing was on the wall. I mean, these guys tried to monopolize the business right out the gate, going into talking about the different shops, Funko Land, like Primal mentioned, and EB Games, Noof and Jago had mentioned, because they were all out here in the Midwest as well. There was we had a Funko. I actually have some NES cartridges that still have Funko sleeves on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And EB Games. And it was and to me, I always felt like competition was healthy, right? I mean, it's when you start monopolizing the business, and you can see this with anything. It's not just GameStop or anything. I mean, hell, any wrestling fans out there, look what happened after the WWF bought WCW. Look how wrestling went. If you're pro wrestling fans, I stopped watching it because of that, because there was no competition.
I stopped watching too, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, and it's just that's just a fact at that point. And then what they're trying to do to keep people getting in, and I get it, they're trying to, kind of do like more the Think Gate kind of thing and stuff like that with the Funko Pops and the T-shirts and the toys and stuff like that. But when you walk in there and you see, like the Funko Pops, my son's really big into those actually, and that was a belch. Very well, Noof.
Yeah.
But you see like the Funko Pops in there, and they're almost like $2 to $3 more expensive than you can go walk into a Target or a Walmart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, why would I go to GameStop to buy them if I can get them cheaper at another big box store? Now, mind you, I'm like everybody here on the panel. I'm a physical kind of guy. All of them, the vast majority of my games are physical. I have very few digital games. Exactly. I got to have that new game smell, even if I'm buying a used game. It's that same vibe. I have to have something tangible, But the writing was on the wall because they monopolized it, and then on top of it, the whole digital distribution thing just taking hold, and that's really putting a stranglehold on just big box stores in general. I mean, you can go on that for hours. I mean, just like Jago had mentioned, you got people who go in to go shopping for somebody because people don't want to do it themselves.
That just comes across to me as lazy as shit.
Oh, it does. Believe me, absolutely. And I mean, I don't do that, but going to the whole online thing, like the whole big box store and all that, and you can go on for hours about it. But I finished my Christmas shopping 2 weeks ago, and you know how I did it? I did it all online. Because I just did not want to set foot in stores around the Christmas season.
I don't blame you.
But as far as a personal spin on it, I got to tell you, I'll be glad to see him go because I've had friends that work for him. They are shady. I've tried to deal with them. I actually, for a while, I tried to do the whole, you swap and upgrade and this, that, and the other thing. And I did it very seldomly, but I did try it. And the fact that you get hit so hard and your trade-in values are just minuscule towards anything. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because I'm like, you're giving me like some type of PTS GameStop D.
I apologize.
The whole point of us kind of selling things that like the used games would only be like $5 less, and you would only get like $5 for your game. The whole point of that was to sign up for our card.
Right, exactly. That's what it is. Their whole card membership.
And then you get this cool magazine and shit. And then on top of that, why don't you reserve 5 games? We'll give you an extra 5%. It was all about how to get the most money out of everything we could possibly do. And
exactly. And that's how I felt going in there myself in my personal experiences. I very rarely set foot into a GameStop out here anymore. It's very rare. And then when I walk in, that's still the thing. Hey, do you want to do this? You want to do that? And I've actually gone to the point where these people will recognize me. And they'll have some new people trying to hawk me, and they said, "Don't bother," because he's not gonna. I said, "Yes, I've set foot in this store for one thing. I'm not gonna sign up for a damn card. I'm not gonna pre-order 5 games. I don't want this. I don't want that. Game Informer magazine has gone downhill, so I can care less about the damn subscription anymore." I
actually get Game Informer magazine every month at my house in the physical edition.
But I used
for any, but that's just it, right? For any tangible business that wants to succeed, the majority, you're always going to have a customer you're never going to please. But the majority of customers should always see this walking through your door is, what new and exciting products am I going to score a great deal on? Not go through the store and go, how am I going to get screwed today?
That's exactly it. It's almost like they're trained to be like used car salesmen at this point.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Trust me, in my GameStop, they get them. The reason why I started going, because there were some really cool guys there. I actually shifted GameStop stores because the one I was going to for years, a bunch of douchebags started working there. And so there was one guy that worked at that store. They hired him, and then like a month later, he's like, "I'm being shifted over here," and like all the cool people followed him over there, and then they all left, and now there's younger people that work there, but they're decent. And I'm like you, I've walked in enough, and they know my face. And,
You're right.
And but they used to, when I walked in, they'd be like, And it was this one girl. She get in my face all the time. Like, look, can I help you? Can I help you? You want a Nintendo Switch today? I'm like, no, I do not.
Back up. And then on top of it, and then for me on top of it, here anyway in the Midwest, because like I mentioned, there was Funko Land and there was EB, and then there were a few really good mom and pop shops that were really very dedicated, and I really like going there. And when GameStop started buying out all the stores, it forced some mom and pop shops out, and it's just like, wow, they've got like such a stranglehold on it, and now the grip is failing because people are just done going there. And I guess that's the whole bit of my point. I could keep going, and I don't want to run this show for another 4 hours here.
Right? Yeah, we
well, dude, this. I walked in. I don't know if I told you. I walked in one time, brought a fucking Xbox One game up to the counter, and the dude looked at me and goes, "Are you sure you didn't want that for PlayStation 4?"
I'll tell you what I want.
And smacked you. Yes. Like if I wanted for PS4, I'd have brought the copy up. I think I know the difference between blue and green, asshole.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. It's like, don't tell me what I think I want. I know what I want. Ring the damn shit up, and I'm going to walk out the damn door.
Trust me, I walk in now. That one girl who used to bug me about a Nintendo Switch every freaking time. She'll look at. I'll walk in. She looks up. I give her a look like, "Don't you ever come up? Don't you bring your ass over here by me, girl? I will about to back up." And she goes, "Oh," she has that look like, "Oh yeah, that's the guy that does not want to switch. Okay, I won't bother him."
So Primal, did you ever get any bonuses or anything then for selling certain products or pushing?
Absolutely fucking not. No, not a single thing. Basically, we would get a gold star on the calendar for being a great employee and shit. Like the incentive of doing well was nothing. It was just a pat on the back.
I thought GameStop employees got like employee discounts or something.
We did get an employee discount. It was a pretty nice employee discount. Only if we bought used.
Really?
Yep, and I heard the same thing from friends of mine that worked for that chill shack.
It was almost fucking pointless. That's why something that GameStop employees, I don't know if they're still allowed to do this. They probably are. But we can check out games for a week or so.
Yeah, I heard that.
Open them, put them back, and sell them as new.
Yep, I heard that.
And that shit drove me nuts.
The guy I followed to the store, he told me that because I got become pretty good friends with him. He told me that shit. He's like, yeah, I take get home, brand new get home, and play it until I beat it and bring it back, sell it as new.
Yeah, there really was no fantastic benefit unless we bought used and even used systems too. We didn't really we couldn't get any discount on new systems, only used ones. And and the whole thing about people specifically coming at you for like the Switch or the PS4,
it's annoying, dude.
It's because that's what we're told to do. We have to have a certain set amount sold over another system. I don't know who makes that decision or choices or whatever it is, but we had to sell a specific amount of systems weekly.
I'll say this. This is the one thing that drives me insane about the GameStop I go to, and it's probably not just the one I go to. There's not even an Xbox kiosk there now. It's PlayStation and Switch.
And that's ridiculous. And then the whole thing you were mentioning, Primal, didn't they call that the circle of life? Isn't that what they called it?
Yeah.
I swear we all had to line up and repeat it. It was just it was an awful thing. We constantly had to do the selling of the used, the reservations and the game card, and then it just circles back because then people
and the misinformation that a lot of these people are getting too, and that's the thing. I mean, honestly, look, they're going to hire kids that got preferences and stuff. I get that, and that's okay, but. Right. You still in a business, you got to make sure your employees try to be as impartial as possible. And there's been so much misinformation too. Like how many Xboxes weren't sold because the kids were pushing PlayStation and telling them bullshit. Like A-Bomb brought up in the chat, and I caught this for myself, where they were telling the Xbox only played like you remember with the DRM, how many they were going on for a fucking full year after that bullshit, saying it didn't play used games, blah blah blah. And then I remember one kid, he brought in like a bunch of 360 games, and the guy was not going to tell him that, oh, you can probably still play those games in your new Xbox One. He was trying to take the games, and I told the kid, look, buddy, half of those games are backwards compatible. You can play them in your Xbox One, and like, you know what I mean? It made a big difference, right? But a lot of that dude at the counter wasn't going to tell him. I don't know. Like every time I go, they're really pushing PlayStation a lot. I don't know if they're paid to fucking push them or what, but it's kind of annoying. And it's cool that PlayStation's cool and all, but like I don't like that.
Dude,
one side.
I've actually seen that.
Fucking drives me nuts.
I've seen that more than one time, dude. I've actually heard at the other GameStop I used to go to, people telling the employees telling like customers in there something, and I knew they were wrong, and I would let like the PlayStation does this or the Xbox One X, or I actually heard one time somebody asking about it after the X came out. Well, which one's better? Which one do the games run better on or look better on? And the GameStop employee. This was at the one I go to now. This is the newer people that are there. They're like, well, the Pro, it's obviously superior to the X. And I was like,
oh, see, now in those instances, Jago, let me tell you, I'd actually pipe up if I knew it was different. I'd be like, nope, they're wrong. Don't listen to them. They're full of shit.
Oh, I did. When they got done talking, they started browsing, and they were looking at the PlayStation because what the employee had told them. I was like, he does not know, either he's misinformed or he's being paid to say that. I said,
oh hell, I do it at the counter.
I said, but I wasn't trying to embarrass him, but I was like, look, all you got to do is do a little research, and you'll see that the Xbox One X is vastly superior to the Pro. Trust me, I am a video game player. I've been playing video games since I was 8 years old, and I was 40 at the time. I'm 41 now. So
I'll say this: there's been major shifts in the industry, especially from physical to digital, as everybody's been alluding to. And this generation has been very telling. I mean, I have a story too from EB Games, right when 2013, when the reveals of PlayStation and Xbox, more closer to the Xbox, obviously, and E3, and I went to an EB Games where I was putting a pre-order in for an Xbox One, and I was being swayed. They were trying to get me, this woman at EB Games was trying to get me to, oh no, you don't understand, you should go for a PlayStation 4. They were giving me all this misinformation about the Xbox. I'm like, well, this is the only system that'll allow me to play Rise, which looks really cool, Killer Instinct, and so on and so forth. But it makes me very distrusting of these companies, which is unfortunate, and the practices by their employees. With regards to just the industry in general right now, I mean, look, you had the largest opening weekend for a game in Red Dead Redemption 2, right? And GameStop isn't seeing as much money because of the digital. And you look at what they're trying to do to make money, putting out more accessories, and even by publishing some games. I even think they had that small Insomniac game from a year ago.
Yeah, Song of the Deep.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, that looked like a
pretty good game, cool. Actually, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I haven't got around to playing it myself, but it looked cool. I like the art style. But anyways, GameStop, it's I can go back and forth with this, but times are changing. Times are changing, and obviously, there's a lot of online retailers are taking a big chunk of their change, and digital too. Digital is a lot more tempting than ever now because of there's all kinds of sales digital too. So we see it more often, and it's more tempting.
Access to games, game specials, etc. Mostly it's the digital era that's really cut in more than anything, and also too a lot of the big box stores are pretty much gone. They don't have as much competition, which actually bodes well in their favor. Because like here in Canada right now, pretty much if you're not EB Games, the only person that's going to go against you right now is more or less either Best Buy or Walmart. That's your competition.
Yeah, and let's be honest too. Amazon is such a huge juggernaut now. They're the ones that really hurt.
Yes, it is. Yes, Amazon. And I'm sorry because I'm going to be one of these guys that swears by it because it keeps me going out of stores like Walmart and wanting to kill people.
You can buy groceries from what I understand. You can buy groceries or some crap.
Yep. In certain areas, the food pantry.
Absolutely nuts.
Exactly.
And I'll just say last bit, I'm just going to say, in all fairness to GameStop employees, because they're not all terrible, and there's some good things about it too. Walmart is just as guilty of walking into too, where I've seen fucking their employees aren't properly informed.
Yep.
It's either they're not informed by the people up or it's either not informed properly, or again, it's a bias coming out. It's usually one of the two. A lot of the times, they're just not informed. They don't know, so you can't always fault them if they don't know. Not everybody that works at these stores making minimum wage is up on games like we are. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, right? It's too bad they're not. But honestly, a lot of these departments should hire more people that actually fucking know this stuff than just like, oh, let's just hire Jimmy and Billy and Sally and hope they fucking get half of their facts right, you know?
Well, look, well, the GameStop employees that are at mine now, the guys I was talking about I followed, they were old. Now all the employees they got now are under the age of, like, say, 26. And let's be honest, the younger generations have been force-fed, you're supposed to be a PlayStation fan only, and or the mobile game is so cool, I've got to have a Switch, bro. They concentrate on, so the only thing they know any tiny bit of information about is a PlayStation or Switch, and that's what those fuckers did to me all the time. And I want to go back up, bitch. Here's my Xbox tattoo. Back up. I already own a PlayStation. I owned it when it started, and I damn sure don't care about Switch. And now they know to leave me alone when I walk in there. But that's the God's honest truth. Let's keep it real. Younger generations have been force-fed that Xbox sucks because they listen to stupid social media so much, then they always push, whether they're in to know or not. The industry is kind of a PlayStation. Is like a PlayStation. Their industry is a PlayStation Plus or fanboys as well. So of course they're being fed that you're supposed to push PlayStation and Switch. That's my thinking on it.
All right. Well, I think we've beat that topic to Paul.
We 30 minutes on GameStop. It's official, fuckers.
It is a dead horse now.
I agree, but we all have. There's pluses and minuses to the big, the retailers. We all have our own needs, desires. Some people like physical, some people like digital. There's pros and cons, but it's interesting to see what's happening with GameStop right now, and it's something to follow, anyways, with the physical retailers. Now, moving on to our next topic. Now, this is a situation that I've been keeping a close eye on the past month or so. Starbreeze Studio, a pretty large developer from Sweden or publisher, has filed for reconstruction, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically Sweden's version of going into administration. It's a very serious situation facing threats from creditors and so on. So basically, they're on the brink of bankruptcy. Their latest game, Overkill's The Walking Dead, failed both critically and sales-wise, and there seems to be just a lot of pressure on them to produce. So, panel, what are your thoughts on this whole Starbreeze situation? Starting with Jago, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Man, I was really, when I read that, I actually read it today before it was put in the topic list. I've been seeing, because if you don't know, it's already out on PC, which kind of bummed me out because that game was supposed to be out already, but I guess the same time that the PC got it. And when I started seeing people trash the game, I'm like, nah, man, come on, why? Because it looked like, we were talking pregame, the trailers they made for each character, they looked so phenomenal. They were almost like photorealistic. It looked like you were watching The Walking Dead, and I'm a Walking Dead fan. So, and then I see that, and it just, I'm like, come on, man, what the hell is going on with the game? It's that bad. It's not selling. That is terrible. And it's you call it what? It's called reconstruction, right? What I was reading is that's like one step above bankruptcy. So, and if that's give them time without having to go into bankruptcy to actually get funds together to pay the people they're in debt to. But man, all you guys know, that was one game. I actually think I still have it. I have it pre-ordered at GameStop. But I think now, I hope. Let's say this. I hope they figure their money situation out, because they've made some awesome games, like really awesome games in the past. And I was hoping Overkill's The Walking Dead would be a huge success for them, and it looked like it was going to be. But obviously, there's something majorly wrong with the game if it's being panned this bad. And I think the Metacritic scores on it were like, God,
it's very mediocre. It's
very in the 50s, maybe I heard last week or read last week. That's terrible. There's something majorly wrong with the game. But and as a fan of what I thought it was going to turn out to be, it's really disappointing, dude. And like I told you guys before, I think I'm just going to wait, which is not good. I'm not giving them my money, so I mean that sucks for them. But I think I'm going to wait to pick it up for like really cheap now because and just play it anyway. When it's like, like I said, get it dirt cheap, but it's just disheartening, man. We don't need any more developers to shut down. We just had Boss Key from Cliff Bleszinski, and I mean, what was it? The one that was developing the Star Wars game back last year. I can't think of it right now off the top of my head.
Oh, Visceral.
Yeah, it was one that made Dead Space, right? Yeah. We don't need any more. We don't need any more studios to close down because you don't want to get to the point where there's like only studios that are open are the ones that Sony personally owns or Microsoft personally owns. You want AAA studios because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a AAA whore. I love AAA. I'm sorry, I don't get huge into the indies because they look like shit I played in the 8-bit era. They're getting better now, but some of them still look like that, and I don't get into that. Can't really. If I'm gonna play an old school game, I'll play what I grew up on. But it's just disheartening, man. It's just gamers are so finicky nowadays, and that's the only thing I can chalk it up to. They're just so picky, and the industry I think has made younger or made even older gamers, some of us older gamers, or so like the younger gamers too, like really picky and will bitch and complain about everything. I mean, back in the day, you got a game. And if it had glitches and bugs or there was something you like about it, either you played it and enjoyed it and you kept it, or you played it, beat it, and took it back. But there was no way to browbeat the developer over the head and get past the word around like how fast it spreads now on with social media. It's just bad to see, man.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you know what? Like I'm kind of mixed on this, but they produced such games as Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay.
Yep, that was a good game.
And a game that I really enjoyed that I'm kind of close to, The Darkness. I really enjoyed that game.
Darkness was amazing.
And there's a sequel to that, right?
Yeah,
I got two. I got two as well.
Well, it's different. Two's different, but it's still very enjoyable. I really hope there's a 3 in the works. Hopefully they get to make one in the near future if there's a bankruptcy. But Mr. Noof Nukem, how do you feel about this? What are your thoughts?
Well, I am crossing my fingers and hope for the best. This studio can rebound, restructure, come back. Again, maybe somebody else steps in to help them out before they get absorbed or something like that. Or maybe even Microsoft. You guys should take a look at these guys. They got some definite talent in that studio. You brought up a game that's near and dear to my heart. Perhaps one of the biggest sleeping hits of the original Xbox generation was the Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay. It was a game that never did come out on PS2 because it was a real milestone. It was a game that came up for the Xbox that really used the Xbox's original potential. It had some really great, amazing graphics. It set the bar before games like the new Doom and stuff came out. It still looks pretty good today, actually, if you go back and play it.
Yeah,
but the game was awesome. Vin Diesel, obviously, in his little studio, he started up, kind of co-developed, and we're part of that as well with Tygon. But that leaves the question: why didn't they go back to that? Why didn't they bring up Riddick? Maybe it was because the Riddick movies kind of lost their steam. The last couple of Riddick movies that came out weren't overly popular, so maybe they decided to get away from the franchise because if you don't have a name to carry your game through, which is part of the reason I think The Darkness, while they were critically decent games, they weren't overly financially successful games. A lot of it's because The Darkness was a more obscure comic book property that a lot of people just didn't know about or get behind, right? And sometimes things are a little bit weird or off. You applaud them for going in a different direction, and those Darkness games are really cool. But again, it's what appeals to the mass market, and that is something that this is the struggle with studios, right? And this goes for anybody. I think it's like it's more important now to have a financial success than it is to have a critical success, because financial success is guarantee often that you will get a sequel. And you know what? A lot of times by the time you get to game number 2 or number 3, studios have already learned. They've learned from their past mistakes, and by then they can often make a much better product. But when you have a great critical success game, like all the reviewers love it, but it doesn't sell well. Honestly, that's the thing. I mean, you could look at that with Sea of Thieves. I'd say it's almost a sure thing that Sea of Thieves may even get a sequel down the road. Was it a critical success? Not entirely, but I think financially it's done pretty good for Microsoft and Rare, right? So this is the same situation a lot of these studios face, that they need to have, they need to find critical or financial success a lot of times before the critical success. It's great if you got both. If you're like a game like Spider-Man or God of War or Red Dead Redemption, where you not only sell well, but you get the praises as well. But boy, when you're trying to make a product, and you could definitely, we'll probably lead into this later with Darkstalkers, right? Kind of that scenario. So look, I'm just going to wrap it up this. I hope the studio comes back, because I would love to see them tackle another Riddick game. Maybe they need to go back to the well that brought them the fame and fortune to begin with. They kind of got away from that. I think they've been doing Payday too, didn't they do the Payday games?
Overkill is got bought by Starbreeze a couple of years ago. So yes, they do own the Payday series.
Right. And as far as the Overkill, look, that game reminds me of a cheap dating site. When you go to the profiles, they all look fucking fantastic, but then you do the live video and you find out she's 50 pounds heavier and her fucking knees got bruises because her tits sag so much. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, God.
Oh boy, that's an interesting take. All right, Proto Foxy, what are your thoughts on this matter, Mr. Red Menace?
I mean, hopefully they can emerge and, you know, restructure and whatever they have to do to keep going, because you never want to lose a studio. You know, it's just a damn shame. I mean, as far as Overkill the Walking Dead is concerned in itself, I mean, I wasn't too impressed by seeing the trailers. I'm sorry, Jago.
Damn it, it looks so good.
I got the, you know, we were talking about it when we were pre-gaming this, I got the vibe of the Norman Reedus game when you guys had brought that up. It was just like, oh, this looks like it's just going to be a cash grab tie-in. And, you know, I mean, I got to agree with the point you all made, where it's like it would almost be better for them to have a financial success over a critical success, because it just seems like that's going to keep the studio afloat. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't ever want to see these studios go away, and it's a shame. I mean, that's all I can really say about it. I mean, you know,
you never want to see,
hopefully it can emerge.
You never want to see talented developers lose their job, and then you never know where they're going to end up, and they may end up in some trash place that they're working on. And I'm sorry for you mobile fans working on some mobile title, because I don't even play mobile. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know, all of a sudden they're working at the resurrection of Glue Mobile or something, right?
Blue Hole or something on the mobile version of PUBG, and then I'm like, sorry, I'm not playing your game, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, man.
The Downer's in the chat. What's going on, Jeremy Downer?
oh, yes, he is. The Downer is being the Downer. All right, Primal. What are your thoughts on this?
Thieves, that's what happened. Him and Tim Dog have been going back about that fucking game forever.
I don't think there'll ever be an end to that conversation.
Funny.
All right. Primal Eve, what are your thoughts on this, my dear?
All of you had some pretty valid points. It is very sad to see a studio fall. But it was from poor decision making. I thought the trailer for it was pretty cool, and ended up not really being what some of the gameplay I saw was. And you can't just base your sales on a game off of the brand name that you're using. Like, the Walking Dead is massive still. I don't know if it'll continue to still be massive, but you can't base it off of just that to try and make you stay afloat.
What's sad about is Robert Kirkman is involved in that game, and everybody's going to a Walking Dead fan, you know who Robert Kirkman is. That's terrible.
He is Walking Dead.
Yeah, he is Walking Dead.
And that actually kind of makes it even more sad that it didn't go as well as planned. But the only thing that they could really do is just learn from their mistakes and try and hopefully get back up there again. But unfortunately, if they do fail and fall, it's gonna be because of their own decisions.
Yeah. I mean, and I know everybody's got their opinions like assholes. Everybody's got one, but the trailers for each character looked amazing to me. They looked really, really good. Mm-hmm. And then if you see gameplay, the gameplay looks like somebody totally different has made the actual game itself. And then I guess everything in the game itself, there's a lot of like terrible. I haven't played it, so I don't know. But I mean, there must be something. The game looks nothing like the trailers. Let's be honest. And the trailers were fantastic. And then I guess the gameplay mechanics are it's just a buggy mess or something. I don't know, man. It's like I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's really mixed. And you know what? I'm kind of mixed here. Like, I hope they pull through, but unfortunately, their games just have not been performing well in recent years. I mean, maybe apart from Payday 2, but that was a couple of years ago.
It's been a while.
And even like, Overkill's The Walking Dead game, that's a huge licensed game, and they should be pulling in better numbers for sales.
Well, you would think Robert Kirkman would have some kind of checks and balances before he let that game get released on PC and it get like hammered like it's getting. I mean, that is pretty much his baby, and it's getting the shit kicked out of it right now.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, Jago. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough that way. To see them go the way of Telltale Games and Capcom Vancouver would be sad, but at the same time, not everybody can survive. That's the reality of it. If Starbreeze has to go that way, then so be it, as much as I would hate that. And then, hey, who knows? Maybe other companies, other developers can buy the IPs, right? And then they could live on. True. It could be better. It could be a better situation. You never know. But again, like, I don't want to get too far. Hopefully, they can still stay afloat, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. So moving on to a really meaty subject floating around today. So it appears as if Microsoft are in talks to acquire a developer that is very close to PlayStation. And leaker Clobriel teased that it's a mid-sized studio that historically worked together with PlayStation a bit. Now, with this rumor now making the rounds, panel, what are your thoughts on this? What studio could he possibly be talking about, hinting at, and so forth? Starting with Proto Foxy, who do you think Microsoft is in talks to that's really close with Sony?
Oh, man, I couldn't even begin to think. I mean, I've only just been kind of dipping my toes in the water on this one. So I'm not even sure what studio would even, they could even coax away from Sony at this point. To be honest, I just know that it's just the rumor at this point that they're talking to somebody that was, mid-tier from them. So, I mean, I apologize. I don't have much to say there.
Oh yeah, that's totally true. Fair. Like, studios that have been very chum with them over the past few years, that they've had relationships with, very strong relationships. I'll just put it out there. Quantic Dream, for example. They did Detroit, Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, so on and so forth. Now, there's a very interesting studio, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be for sure.
And Heavy Rain was on the Xbox 360, so...
Yeah, it was.
I don't think it was.
Oh, Heavy Rain
on the 360.
That was a PlayStation 3 exclusive.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, that was something else.
Yeah, no, it just
maybe I'm thinking wrong too. But I've got because again, I'm just different things. So that's why I'm horrible to start with here.
No, and that's fair. If you want, we can come back to Pro. If you have any thoughts, you can add them in towards the end. Go for it. Mr. Noof Nukem, I'm sure you're chomping at the bits at a few suggestions here. Go for it, my man.
I'm chomping at the bits like I'm chowing down on tits. Let's rock and roll here. Look, and personally, I'd say if they're talking with anyone, my money's probably on Sumo Digital. Sumo Digital helped do a variety of PlayStation ports back in the day. I think they were involved, and they worked with a bunch of companies. You know, Sumo Digital was involved with Sega and a few things, like some of the Sega All-Star Racing games. I think Sumo Digital helped PlayStation, if I'm correct. I think they helped them with the Little Big Planet, and I'm not sure if that was like the PlayStation Vita versions or whatever. But basically, they've been involved with some gaming and some port work and stuff like that for the PlayStation. And plus, we all know that Sumo Digital right now is heavily involved with Crackdown 3. So in all likelihood, that, you know, fingers pointing in that direction. But if it was me and I had the choice to pick up a PlayStation Studio, if it were possible, I would love them to get Ready at Dawn. Ready at Dawn is an incredible studio. Most recently, one of their works was The Order 1886. Now, I know while some people are going, look, the 1886, in all honesty, is what I consider to be the PlayStation 4's version of Rise, Son of Rome. Why I say that is because the game had a ton of potential, but it also had a ton of missed potential, right? Missed opportunity. But graphically, you can go back and play The Order 1886, and it's still one of PS4's best looking titles. It actually plays quite well. It basically is kind of like, to me, The Order 1886 reminded me of, what do you call them? Like, what's that word? Cyber steampunk. It kind of reminds me, like a steampunk old age version of Gears of War. It kind of had a little bit of Gears of War feel to it. I actually enjoyed that game. I didn't think it was as bad as people made it. A little short, a little repetitious, but then again, so was Rise, Son of Rome. So to me, that studio, plus they've also done a variety of the God of War stuff. Ready at Dawn was the company. They got their big start doing the PlayStation portable version of God of War Chains of Olympus and stuff. So they started with some pedigree, and then they started to make their own game. And obviously, The Order was highly touted, but just kind of fell short of the mark, and it went through its series of delays and blah, blah, blah. But again, look, honestly, if you've never played The Order, go back and try it out. You can get it dirt cheap, and it is a decent title. You won't regret it. It's pretty cool stuff. You know, it's like Sherlock Holmes means Gears of War, throwing some werewolves and shit, and there you go. But look, that would be the company I would love to see, because again, with their graphic technology, they obviously know how to do graphics and stuff. It's just a matter of getting a company to invest in them, to trust in them, and let them go to it. You know what I mean? And not force their hand. I think that studio could be humongous, but it's probably not them.
No, good points. Good points. Primal Eve, do you have any thoughts on this matter? Who do you think could possibly be purchased or talked?
I'm kind of stalking a little bit. It was really funny because I saw a bunch of people saying that it would be Insomniac doing it, and they had completely shut them down. I saw that on Twitter, and that made me laugh. The Quantic Dreams would be really, 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 really cool, because I am a huge fan of like the point and click type games. They did a game called Fahrenheit back in the day that I absolutely love, because I love my murder mystery. I love storytelling games. But my personal true like wish and desire, like deep down, as deep as it can go, would be a JRPG studio. I would love that. I know it won't be anything as big as like Atlas, or even just, hey, we're gonna take Square completely. Like that shit'll never happen. And but I would really like to see some JRPGs coming over to Microsoft. So that would be really, really cool if they could do that for me, please.
All right, I'll put out a memo to them about that. All right, Mr. Jago Kukin, who do you think would be potential good fits for Microsoft that have been friendly with Sony?
Well, I really don't know. I mean, honestly, because I can't remember who's been friendly with Sony or who's been friendly with Yoshida. You know, at the end of the day, other than Jeff Keighley. But but Noof kind of took where I was going to go with that. Ready at Dawn, and as soon as you brought that up, I was like, Ready at Dawn and The Order 1886, because in my opinion, I got it I didn't get it day one because it looked amazing. When they were like showing the trailers and just about, everything that you got to kind of gist from the trailers what it was about. but I didn't get it. I didn't get it because people were talking shit about it. I let people influence me, but I bought it probably a year and a half after it came out for like $8 to $10, and I thought that game looked amazing. And Noof really did a good comparison when he said it was the PlayStation's rise to Rome. And if you go back and put that game in, I guarantee you will be amazed. And if you've never played it, you probably can get it for $4 at GameStop. I don't know about digitally, but go pick up the physical copy. You can get it dirt cheap now. And I mean, if you are a sci-fi fan like I am, or you just like, I love sci-fi. It's like my favorite genre ever. Hello, Star Trek. Hello, Star Wars. Star Trek first, but then Star Wars. Or a fan of comic books, or just a fan of any kind of sci-fi or like comics or anything. Yeah. Go pick up that game. It is, and Noof did a really good job by comparing it like a Gears or something, but like an old school, because it was Nikola. Actually, they put Nikolai Tesla in the game. He's the one that, and I'm not spoiling anything, but he's the one that like helps you like with your weapons. It was amazing. I thought the shooting mechanics were good. I mean, I love there's werewolves, like Noof said, in the game. I thought it was a pretty damn good story, and from what I remember, it took at least 8 to 10 hours to beat it. If you pick it up for $2, you're not losing anything. I mean, you're winning there. And just give it a try, because I actually thought I would love to see an Order 1886 sequel, being honest with you. Because, I mean, it's wasn't it about the Knights of the Round Table too, kind of like?
Yeah, it tied into like the Knights of the Round Table, yeah. Obviously the werewolf and the lore. Yeah, that stuff, and Tesla inventing sort of like the first modern age weapons of that time period, So, but yeah, it was a really cool game. It tied it all in well. It played pretty good. The controls were solid. Yeah, like I said, the graphics itself were just fucking. There was really nothing better. Amazing. The whole game almost looked like a fucking cutscene. It was that good.
It did. It really did. Now that I'm recalling more of the Order, because I did play it. I actually enjoyed it too, and yeah, it was amazing looking.
We're not spoiling it for you, Cyber Gunner, dude. If you haven't played it, go pick it up, brother. It was a really good game. I'm telling you, like I said, I would love to see a Order 1886 sequel. I put it that way. I would love Microsoft's pick up Ready at Dawn. Go for it.
Yeah. No, if that game had about another 6 months to a year, it probably would have been real special. But I think Sony desperately wanted to get that out and really forced Ready at Dawn to fucking, to whack it to it.
I think if the game had multiplayer, it would have got a lot more traction. Imagine, because you played as like a descendant, which you were still, and I'm not giving too much away, but you were like a descendant. Or the Knights of the Round Table were still in existence. That's what you kind of were, but you just had more modern weapons. And I think if it had multiplayer, you could play as the humans, or you could play as the werewolves. I think there was a vampire in the game too, if I remember. I can't remember. It's been so long. But I mean, multiplayer with the weapons and just being able to play as the human or werewolves or whatever, that would have been awesome. And I know that's one of the biggest gripes about that game at the time, that there was no multiplayer before everybody played it. There's no multiplayer. So.
And it had some quick time stuff too, which obviously took a lot of flack. So,
But yeah, it did look very impressive. Honestly, I can understand why a lot of people would like it despite its flaws, because there's always those games that you just kind of like, you kind of have a soft spot for it. So I totally understand.
Put it this way, it's still in my collection physically. I have not got rid of it because I enjoyed it that much. If the game's trash and I don't like it, I will take it back to GameStop and take a loss. And I hate doing that, but I don't do it much now at all.
Oh yeah, no problems there. And I got to make some suggestions too, because there are quite a few interesting developers that could be in talks with them. Like, take a look at Supermassive Games, for example. They did Until Dawn.
Oh, yeah, Until Dawn. Yeah.
And I think they would be very promising.
Great game.
Yeah, I mean, they had that, and I believe it was the VR game to Blood Rush, I think it's called. And they had announced back in August a new game. It's another horror game called Man of Medan, I believe it's called, and it looked kind of interesting, kind of like an anthology going on there. More of the same stuff, but they definitely have a knack for telling stories, and a little bit of a got kind of like a little Stephen King vibe going on, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
And they're Canadian.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Oh, dang.
They're
Oh,
a
hey,
Canadian developer.
it's possible. Hey, why
Which
not?
means that Microsoft's American dollars actually buy them a lot more shit if they put them in Canada.
Yep.
Well,
Plus the
Microsoft.
Canadian government pumps money into our developers up here.
Nice.
It's possible. And Microsoft, now they're the wealthiest company in the world right now, so they got a lot of money to spend.
Beating that Apple's ass. That's
Yeah.
Worm in the apple.
Well, hey, competition, especially in tech, is a very good thing. And again, I would like to highlight Quantic Dream, even though they have been successful with Detroit. I really don't know where they are as a studio. Ready at Dawn, as you guys said, The Order, Deformers. They've worked on a few games recently. And if I may suggest this indie studio that was buddy-buddy with them, I think it could be a possibility. They're not that big, but Hello Games. And
yeah.
I say that because, they had a bad launch and they took a lot of flack, and deservedly. Sean Murray and the crew.
Yeah, yep.
Like, I totally understand the flack that they got, but they ended up putting out a huge amount of content into the game later on. It came to the Xbox, and they fixed a lot of stuff. So I appreciate the effort they put in, and I could see Microsoft possibly investing in a studio like that, but I digress. Who knows? I mean, there's still a lot of studios out there that could be possibilities, right?
I agree with Dave Daly in the chat. He says Guerrilla Games because Horizon Zero Dawn was freaking fantastic as well.
Well, I think the issue that Guerrilla is actually owned by Sony. That's the thing.
Oh, well, never mind. Never mind, Dave.
But hey, you never know. Sony, Microsoft might be like, oh, hey, we'll buy them off you for, here's 50 million, 100 million.
We're rich, bitch. I'm buying Sony. I'm buying you.
Yeah, no, I could that would be a funny scenario, pulling a Nintendo and Rare thing going on. All right, on to the next topic. We're going to talk about Nintendo now, and on to a bit of wonderful news regarding Nintendo. They are finally scrapping their creators program after 2 to 3 years of criticism from fans and streamers. Now, through the program, it allowed content creators to receive about 60% of ad revenue from videos containing Nintendo property, which for streamers, that kind of sucks and lacks incentive. The program, it drew flack for, a lot of reasons, as the program was overwhelmed with applicants and they just couldn't get to them a lot of the time. And Nintendo would instantly demonetize videos that were not approved by them. And yeah, streamers responded by, they were very public about it, not being happy about it. They wouldn't purposely broadcast Nintendo content. And I'm sure Nintendo noticed this on Twitch. Now, panel members, what are your thoughts on this matter? Is this a nice surprise and a smart move by Nintendo?
I'm sorry to jump in here, but what the fuck is that noise? I'm hearing something that sounds like a muffled dog. That's been going on for the last...
Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
Somebody got something wrong with the mic, or did somebody shove it up their asshole?
Weird,
or what's going on here?
I don't know.
Weird.
Who's Mike?
I don't know. It sounds like somebody's talking in the background with a fucking pillow over their face.
Right, yeah.
Help me!
Anybody else in the chat, you hearing that shit too, or is it just Noof Nukem going fucking nuts over here?
I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it.
Yeah, I'm hearing it too. I don't know where the heck it's coming from.
Weird. It can't be me. There's nobody. My mic is here, and I'm not even moving anything.
Crazy
corpse from the grave.
Corpse is haunting us.
I hear it now too. What is that?
Very weird.
Anyway, back on topic.
Yeah. So panel members, what are your thoughts on this? I'm gonna start with you, Primal. Is this a good thing for consumers, for streamers? How do you feel about this?
I'm sorry, I still hear that sound.
Where the fuck is it?
Supersonic Station said someone kidnapped Sean Murray.
He's in the background
I promise I won't make No Man's Sky too.
I'm gonna try to keep this simple so I can mute myself and laugh. There's nothing but positive from this, and in my opinion, even for not just for YouTubers and streamers, but for Nintendo too. I know a lot of people will go and watch gameplay of a game before they even decide to buy it. So it's, in my opinion, it's a win-win. It was a pretty shitty situation, kind of, for people who did want to stream their games, and I understand what they were doing by charging that. It was 60% is really friggin' high.
Oh yeah.
But it was just a hurdle that took them a really long time to finally give in. Because I remember back in the day, YouTube would shut down every single like streamer site that was doing like a simple walkthrough because of copyright issues. It was a big deal for a buddy of mine who was trying to do a Dead Space walkthrough. He spent so many hours and played it completely straight through, no breaks, and they completely shut his account down. And it was really, really sad. But nowadays you can pretty much do whatever you want with either Sony, Microsoft, and it's great for Nintendo to finally join in too.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely this is a good move by Nintendo. Like it was absurd what they were trying to pull, and is it still going on?
Yeah.
Who the hell is tickling you over there?
Yeah, something's going on.
I keep hearing it. All right, I'm muting myself.
It's time to get off the mustache ride.
All right, panel members, mute yourself when the other people are talking. Let's see what's going on here.
There you go. It's a podcast first. Somebody is eating veg and trying to talk.
Oh my god!
Funny. But moving on, Noof, what are your thoughts on all this? I'm assuming you think that this is a really good pro streamer move by Nintendo?
Yeah, I can't talk on it too much. It's a pro streaming move. I'm happy that Nintendo's finally loosening the reins a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I never really got too involved. Don't understand all the logistics before. A lot of guys would talk about it, and Nintendo's this and Nintendo's that. So it's obviously, it's a good thing for streamers, and in the long run, it's probably good for Nintendo too, because it means more people playing and promoting their games. But what the fuck is that? Look, I haven't stuck a Cabbage Patch up my ass since the 80s, so that's not it.
And that's a thing, apparently.
Oh man,
I haven't stuck anything up there, so I'm good.
That's a terrible vision right there.
It is.
Now we know why they look so fucking weird. It's a good thing for Nintendo. I'll leave it at that, because we're dragging things on here, and this is fucking wacky.
And talking about cabbages.
Oh, fuck. Go ahead. You can pass this topic on to somebody else that knows more about it than me.
I think Invader's dead. I think the anus cabbage killed him.
Robot. I'm the cosmic robot. I don't die, man. I don't die. All right, Jay, go. Let's hear your thoughts on this. Is this pro streamer by Nintendo? Do you think they're doing the right thing now after so many years?
Well, welcome to 2018, Nintendo. I mean, for Christ's sake, your whole Nintendo's. Oh, don't get me started with Nintendo. I really don't like Nintendo, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. I sound like Popeye right now. I am what I am, and it's all that I am. No. I grew up with Nintendo, but Nintendo didn't grow up with me. Their business practices, their antiquated bullshit. I started, and guys, don't get me wrong. Yes, I'm like Supersonic Station. I was on the Sega side, but I also played Nintendo. Had a NES, a Super NES, the Nintendo 64, and I loved Nintendo a lot back in the day. But I saw, as I got older, they weren't maturing with me, for lack of a better way to explain it. And, I remember seeing Beautiful Joe, and I'm like, what the fuck is this damn game?
Don't you talk bad about Beautiful Joe. No, don't you do it. Don't do it.
I was like, this right there. That's when I started losing faith in Nintendo. I was like, that is not for me. But they brought me back around when they said the first place you can play Resident Evil 4 was on the GameCube. I'm like, yes, Nintendo is finally learning. We got a adult themed game on a Nintendo console. And guess what? That was the only freaking game I bought for the purple GameCube that I waited in line to get on release day. I was like, oh my God, come on, man. And Sony was already doing it better. Microsoft was already doing it better. And it did not surprise me when Nintendo came up with that stupid Nintendo Creators Program bullshit, because they still hadn't got the clue that people playing your games, posting it on YouTube or wherever, is free advertisement for people to see your game and go, oh, that looks cool. Maybe I'll go out there and get the game. And that's free advertisement that they ain't paying people for, which it turns into sales of said game. And I was just like, oh my God, Nintendo, what the fuck? And and they've pushed the handheld thing. That's what they want to do. And I had the Sega Nomad and the Sega Game Gear, and I had the Nintendo Game Boy and the original one, and I had the Atari Lynx, and God, what else? I had the PSP. I've had a lot of but I grew out of that. I grew out because I'm older now. I don't give a shit. When I sit my ass down after work. I'm playing on a regular controller. When I go to work, I'm not taking it in my fucking fanny pack to go when I go do what I do, which is hardwood floors. Let me go play my Switch while I'm running the Thunder. No, I don't give a fuck about that. I don't got time. But it's just for you Nintendo fans out there, thank God Nintendo took their head out of their ass, because it's only going to help them in the long run. I guess somebody went up there to, I don't even know the president's name, whoever. Somebody went up there and said, hey, stupid, and slapped the shit out of them and said, look, it's free advertisement. Come on, man. It's 2018. And it's only good for people it's really good for people who enjoy Nintendo's IPs. And don't get me wrong, I love Mario, Donkey Kong, all that. But it's about time. About time Nintendo learns, because Sony and Microsoft has known this fact for a long time. It's free advertisement, and I've seen, and all you guys too, you have seen a game being played on YouTube, Twitch, or Mixer, somewhere, wherever it was back in the day, and you may not have been interested in it, and you're like, that game looks interesting. Now I'm gonna go pick it up. But with Nintendo games, you weren't able to do that or see that.
Jago, you know what's really funny? Nintendo's main character for decades has been a plumber, and these guys are still full of shit.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so true. Kudos to Nintendo if you're crazy. That's funny shit though. But kudos to finally catching up, man, and actually learning the lesson.
Yeah, no, they definitely need a good slap around the face. Finally coming to terms with streaming and just basic criticism. Nintendo as a company, even though I have a soft spot for them, they can be annoying. They can be super annoying, and they just need to get with the times. Proto Foxy, how do you feel about this? And do you think this is a good move by Nintendo?
Well, first thing I'm going to say, Jago and I are fighting now over them comments about Beautiful Joe. God damn it! That's it. That's it.
Mortal Kombat.
Totally.
It'd been a good game, but
they all were amazing. And
the cover art just turned me off because the age I was at the time. Like, that looks so kiddie. I
was in my mid-20s and I was all over it. But I was all over it as much pussy as I could have been all over at that age. Trust me. But anyway, as far as Nintendo goes, I'm gonna parrot the panel here. About damn time, for real. I mean, I love Nintendo. I mean, there's no bones about it. I grew up with that. I've been gaming since I was 5. My first actual real console that actually worked properly, because I did have an Atari 2600 back in the day.
Yep.
But the first real working one that I had was a Nintendo Entertainment System. So I've
I was going to say the one you had to open the door and blow in the box in, right?
Oh yeah, the toaster oven, I still own my Nintendo consoles, and I love Nintendo. I mean, it's just those are the games I enjoy, and why would you not jump on this free advertising at this point? I mean, the whole and reading into the whole content creators thing and all that, I mean, it was just so it just seemed like there were so many loopholes you had to jump through. And then if you were wanting to like stream their stuff exclusively, you couldn't or stream some of their stuff, I guess, as far as the way the article explained it, was like you couldn't have any other console stuff on there. And it's like, how archaic is that? I mean, it made no sense to me. But a lot of their business practices, and I'll be the first to admit, being the big Nintendo fan I am, they are ass backwards. They couldn't guide their way out of a wet bag of shit properly. I'm serious. It's because the things they've done, it's like, what are you thinking? It's like, again, get with the times, like Jago was saying, even though we're still fighting on Beautiful Joe. It's 2018 at this point. Get over these old business practices on doing things the way you do it, and just kind of get with the times. I mean,
you gotta. I mean, let's be honest. I get it. I get where they're at, the part of the world where they're at. It's kind of the norm over there to be like, just stick to your old traditions. But Nintendo saved the video game industry back in the day. That's why I'm a fan of them too. And a lot of their IPs, like Mega Man. Me and you and Mega Man now. I love Mega Man, bro.
All right, so that's gonna save you a little bit, but the Beautiful Joe thing, we're still fighting on, man.
But culture too. It's why they've took so long to break out of their shell, and it's really fucking annoying, dude.
It is. No, I agree with that point. It's like, I can't tell you, again, being the Nintendo fan I am, it's just like you just stare, and it's what's that meme where it's like with Jackie Chan just has his shoulder shrugged, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
that's like me. I honestly morph into Jackie Chan from that picture for that split second. Anytime Nintendo announces they're doing something, it's like, what are you doing? I don't get it, but it's good for everybody. And I'm glad that Nintendo has finally kind of removed their heads from their anuses to do so.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a good call. And, again, I'm with you guys. I'm a huge old school Nintendo fan. I love a lot of their IPs, and they bring me a lot of
Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, Metroid. I mean, all the ones we grew up on. I mean, Christ.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And I love them all, but man, they can be boneheaded at times, really thick-headed, thick-skulled, and I'm glad that this is gone, because I really wanted to stream a few of their games. I really like Breath of the Wild, the Zelda Breath of the Wild. I really like Mario Kart and so on. There's a lot of other games that I'm looking forward to, but it really puts me and other Nintendo Switch owners or whatnot in really awkward positions, because I'm afraid, hey, they're going to demonetize my stuff, or they're going to copyright this or that. So, of course, I'm just not going to be excited or not willing to put out their content. And they don't understand that I'm advertising for them. If I'm playing their game, hey, other people are watching me. Hey, they might buy your game. You never know, right?
Yes, because watching people play video games was not a thing when we were growing up. I mean, it wasn't even the internet until a certain time. And now watching people play video games is a huge thing. Mm-hmm. And I guess they just realized that.
Yeah, well, finally they got their head out of their ass, which is amazing.
They're about 5-6 years behind the curve on that. I mean, a lot of these YouTubers out there, they have made their names strictly on the whole Let's Play thing, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's oh, hey, this is free advertisement when somebody else is playing our game. It's like, yeah, welcome to 2013, asshole. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
No, people streaming Call of Duty is one reason why Call of Duty is still so successful to this day. Not so much anymore, but that's why it kept Call of Duty relevant for as long as it has been relevant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's a huge streaming culture. There's huge streaming communities. I mean, I know I'm involved in it. Noof is, and a few others, and it's fun. And I would like to do Nintendo stuff. I'm glad that they're finally nixing this, and I'm excited. I can't wait to do some more Nintendo stuff and finally start that up. But with that, draws an end to the show, and hey, I would just like to thank everyone in the chat for coming out in full force. Everyone was very lively and energetic as always.
Chat was on fire tonight.
Yeah, and hey, before you head out, please remember to like this video after hearing us ramble on about video games. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting the content. And before I forget, Supersonic Station in the chat wanted me to shout out his stream for Extra Life, a charity stream, Wednesday, December 5th at 3 p.m. It's a 24-hour stream, and all the donations go to sick kids. So definitely check his channel out for more info on that. Sounds like a great cause.
Nice.
Yeah, Sonic.
Yeah, good guy and good cause. So definitely check out Supersonic Station's channel out. And now time for the outro. So Noof Nukem, please let everyone know where they can find you, brother.
Okay. Before I do my exact outro, I just wanted to say that I'm highly disappointed in Sony and the PlayStation Classic. That thing's out now. Lots of people are starting to do the unboxings and the reviews. It hasn't been favorable. And I just wanted to say how sad I am, because this was an item that when it was first released or touted, I was actually excited for it. I've been very pleased with the Nintendo's efforts, but this one has been anything but stellar. I'm hearing that the emulation is pretty bad. The selection of games is certainly underwhelming and very disappointing. So, all I'm going to say is I hope, part of me, like, I don't like to say anything not sell well, but I really hope that people don't go nuts on this, because it sends the wrong message to the industry. That will just buy any fucking thing that's nostalgic. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And I want to see. Not that I wanted to succeed, but I would just think they could have put a much better effort forward. And if they ever go to do, say, a PS2 classic, which would probably be super huge, because the PS2 is fucking one of the greatest consoles of all time. Then I want to see a much better effort put forward, because this is just bullshit. Like, everybody's making these retro consoles and not really putting effort in, and I think it's a disservice not only to that company, but a disservice to the millions of fans that really want to buy it and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, guys. So hopefully you spend your money wisely, because there's a lot of games out there that deserves your money a lot more than that retro classic PlayStation.
Yeah, don't buy it.
But anyway, that's it. Big thanks to the chat tonight, guys. Amazing people. Indie Gamer came out again. Supersonic Station. We've got, Cyber Gunder's been in the chat. Lunch Bizzle's here. Shizno Elite's here. Chaos Theory's here. Dave Deadly, the Downer, Jeremy Downer joined us tonight. That's a rarity, but thanks, Jeremy. That's pretty cool that you could stop by.
Was here earlier.
Oh, yeah, man. Z Black Rider, the list goes on. But anyway, let's get to my outro. You know how it is, guys. You always find Noof Nukem in the gutter on Xbox Live, at Noof Nukem on the PlayStation at Noof Nukem 76. Go add me. Let's play some games. Let's do it. That's it for me, guys. Have a great night. Thanks to Invader for hosting the show. Glitch, we miss you, bro. Get back here next week. Stinky, wherever you are, hopefully you're either come here or figure something out. But anyway, guys, catch you later. Have a good night.
All right, that was beautiful. Thank you, Noof. Miss Primal Eve, please give us your details, my dear.
All right, I finally am calmed down.
36 or 36. Oh, sorry, wrong details.
Oh my God, why every time, Jacob? Every time. I want to thank my panel for being so awesome and for making wonderful sounds in the background. I want to thank our chat for being here every week, even on days when all of us aren't here. It's really awesome to see you guys so dedicated and wanting to listen to us. If you guys want, you can follow me on Twitter at Primal Eve. And if you want to have a good time and joke and laugh and just bullshit, you can always find me on Xbox, also Primal Eve, 2 words. And then also on the PSN, you can find me as Primal Eve.
All right, good stuff there, Primal, and thanks for not exploding into a sea of laughs there.
I tried so hard. I'm gonna have to.
She's gonna explode into a sea of something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the moist mist is in the house. All right. Let's see who we got. Jago, please let everyone know where they can find you, bro.
You can find me. You guys, I want to say thank you to everybody that stopped by tonight. And you guys are always stopping on Mondays. You know who you are. We so appreciate you guys, man. Y'all were on fire tonight. Of course, the panel was too. You can find me most time in my recliner when I get home because I'm an old fuck.
I thought he was down there tapping those buttons and going, "I do good."
Yeah.
Not tonight. Not tonight. But you can find me obviously here on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, my time, on the Game Dosage Podcast. You can find me once a month on the Dust. And Dad's going to you said it wrong. I don't care. I can't pronounce it correctly, Dad. Shout out to him. He was here earlier, too. With the Indie Gamer is the new panel member since Supersonic Station had to stop or had to leave. Shout out to Indie Gamer. And you can find me on a WDFC, which stands for Who the Fuck Cares. Whenever Fastback decides to do it, you can find me on Instagram, Xbox Live, good Lord, and Twitter at Jago Cooking. And you can find me on YouTube with my channel that I randomly upload shit to. Last time I uploaded something to do it was the Arcade 1-Up stuff. But yeah, man. And all you guys on Twitter that follow me, y'all all family. I look at all y'all's family, so I appreciate it, man. Much love.
Of course, and it's always appreciated. There's lots of love going on, and we appreciate everybody that comes to listen, shows up in the chat, and participates. You guys rock. You are the lifeblood of the show, and we really appreciate it when you guys come, listen, and comment. It's awesome. And last but not least, Mr. Proto Foxy, the Red Menace, the Red Devil, please give us your outro.
You're sending me off just perfectly. I ain't got to say nothing.
All right.
Actually, you can find me here Monday nights because this is the best place to be on Monday nights. Everybody in the chat, y'all kick ass, and you tuning in and keeping us going. Otherwise, we're a bunch of assholes just talking to each other about video games. Otherwise, you got me on Twitter as Foxy Proto because I live life backwards and I've just come to accept these things. YouTube is Proto Foxy. PSN is Happy Emo Puncher. Steam is Wicked Lance. That's where I'm at, and that's where you'll find me.
There you go. Did you guys see what I told fucking Lunch in the chat? It was too fucking funny. He said, "Sorry guys, I was late." And I said, "That's okay, man. Periods are often late too."
It's only if it's a month, then you have to sweat something.
Too good. Well, as everyone knows, I'm Invader. You can find me on this channel, of course, Invader Gaming, and you can also find me on Twitter. I'm very active there at Invader_1986. And yeah, guys, it's been a blast. We had some really awesome topics, awesome show, and we can't wait to come back next week for another stellar show, and we hope to see you there. So thank you, everyone, for showing up, and this is the Game Dosage signing out.
Keep it tight, ass.
Boom, 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 boom.
Bravo.
See ya.